A subject that's covering so much of our lives now, and we can't get away from it, no matter how hard we try. And it's going to help us do so many things in a real world, in an augmented world, and maybe also in our professional world as well. So what's happening with AI? What isn't happening? What should happen? Here to help us lift the lid on these challenges to come is a great panel with the views of a broadcaster, a football league, and a technology provider. So please welcome Jeja Svensson, Head of Digital Transformation at Elite Football, Swedish Football, and Alessandro Reitano, SVP of Sport Production at Sky Deutschland and Chairman of SVG's Advisory Board, and Andrea di Muzio, Head of Technical Sales and Solutions at Eluvio. Okay. And thank you. So the heading of this discussion, building from the back, is will AI benefit football production and distribution? But before we get to that, let's talk about what it's already doing for you. So if I may, I'll come first to you, Alessandro. I believe Sky Deutschland is already looking into highlights, graphics, and so on. Perhaps you could tell us where it's already taken you and how it's already benefiting.
Obviously, at the size of Sky in general, we have tons of AI work streams, obviously. If it comes to content operation, content production in sports and news, I would describe three clusters. We have AI in the live environment for automated highlight clipping, image clips, contribution, distribution. We are using AI in the near life, where we, let's say, obviously using AI for condensed version of all the matches. And there's the third bucket is in regards of pre and post match, where it comes to graphics, where it comes to dubbing, where it comes to subtitling. And the horizontal layer, because there was a vertical work streams, the horizontal layer is the technology. And this is where we're always asking ourselves where it's beneficial or not. That's why in I would say the last year was more around testing and learning. And this year is about execution. Because you need time, otherwise you spend too much money and you waste a lot of money and a lot of time. So you have to think about clearly and very carefully about where you want to scale and in which safe environment you want to embed AI or not.
Thank you. And Andrea, I'll come to you next, and I believe you're going to take us through a couple of slides to show us what Eluvio are bringing us already.
Yes, thank you. We experience AI in two aspects and in two projects so far. The first one has been not on soccer, but on another sort of football, American football, where we've helped one of our partners to automatically caption images. So while the action was going, an image would be detected, and AI would automatically basically add the label and describe the action that was going on. And we've done that with soccer as well during the Euros, and the results are pretty spectacular. Of course, it requires a lot of training on the model, and maybe that's something we're going to discuss afterwards. And on a parallel topic, something else that we have experienced that we're going to put in action in April, so it's not yet live, but will be starting in April with rugby, is having AI generating a 15 minutes highlight of an entire match. And that can be done in a matter of minutes right after the match. So it's highlight generation, AI-driven, which can be completely automatic, or it can be considered as an assistance for somebody to go then and decide what is good, what is not good.
Okay, thank you. And Jeja, how's AI rocking Swedish football?
Yeah, so I'm working for the top 2 leagues in Sweden. I don't think anyone in here follows the Swedish league, but you know our players, right? They're definitely dominating the Premier League right now, so I'm very happy to be here. But since I'm working for 32 clubs, I'm mainly focusing on how to generate revenue and harvest data and explore new rights on club and league level, but not that focused on the broadcasting side, just to make something clear at the start. And we're working with AI for production of youth games, because we think it's a new revenue stream for our clubs to be able to send streamed matches during the day when no one's really attending the stadiums, and it works really efficiently. And we also used AI and AI cameras for game analytics on the higher level and the two leagues. We also use it for content curation, and we also have some image-based video tracking in real time with heat maps and high-speed runs and that sort of thing, and possession. So that's quite... Oh, now we're showing my video. It wasn't intended to be here, but... Yeah, so what I wanted, I can't even see the screen, but what I wanted to show here is that we have, this is a youth game where we have Follow the Ball. And if you're like me, a soccer fanatic, it's quite a good way of looking at a game, because you can see where the left winger is in position, and you can actually see in this sequence the fast, high-speed run. But he's a little bit too late, and it becomes a corner, and he's getting a bit upset there, you can see. I think this is actually a good way of experience a game. Because if you're looking at the bigger broadcasters, since I'm interested in the tactics and how is the defenders moving during a corner, or how are they going to set up this set piece instead of focusing on one person or one player. Yeah. So I think it's a lot of beneficials from it, and I think it could be a complementary view of the game. And since I wasn't supposed to show this right now, I'm going to add.
Please do.
In Sweden, it's really important with the arena experience. So we're a small league, but the crowd and the supporters are really the whole thing. So you need to be at the arena, and if you're at the arena, this is actually quite similar to being at the arena compared to watching Cristiano Ronaldo's new hairdo or something in close-up when there's a penalty. So I think it's another way, and probably another audience that's interested in that kind of streams.
Thank you. Okay, so we've seen a little bit of automated production there, and I'm sure we've all seen quite a few examples of it. With varying levels and so on. None of us right now are going to be seeing the FIFA World Cup final fully automated with AI in charge. But we're talking about the future here. Let's speculate for a minute. Who'd like to jump in and tell me which year we're going to see a FIFA World Cup final driven by AI with all of us humans just enjoying it, rather than having to produce it? Or will it never happen?
I don't think this is ever going to happen.
No.
No, that's my personal opinion. Not for a prime event like the FIFA World Cup. Probably in 5 to 10 years, the technology will be ready to fully automate the production of a second or third level event, or events that today we don't even cover, because covering with humans is not cost effective compared to the monetization that you can do on the back.
Yeah.
And that can definitely help using AI.
I would let's say, start from a different angle, because it's always, let's say, struggling with the question when AI will replace humans. It doesn't make sense. The question is more, let's say, can we use AI to amplify the creativity with humans? And with this regards, I would say also never ever a FIFA World Cup final. But at the end of the day, the question is very different. How much hybrid we can work with AI. And I rather discuss about this and let's say having the thoughts of experts and all the, let's say, scientists out there to say, okay, what's possible, instead of, okay, when we will be replaced by automation or, let's say, AI. And from that point of view, I think FIFA, and you heard Oscar, I mean, they're having a big and a huge footprint to cover. Let's say the World Cups will be diversified. It will never be in one continent, maybe in certain continents. And the question is rather be, okay, can AI help also broadcasters in that respect and host broadcasters to create different content, fragmented content, diversified content for different audience, rather than can I replace a 58 camera operation or a Super Bowl into AI? And with this in mind, I think you need the discussion with the vendors. This is exactly the point where vendors need to step in and have to tell the story about. Let's say it's all about storytelling, and you have to capture it from the moment it starts to the end. And this is where the discussion from broadcasters, federations, to vendors needs to be done in a way. Okay, help us to create better stories. And whatever you have, if it's software, if it's whatsoever, it's all about story centricity. And this would be my answer, because I a little bit exhausted by always the question, okay, well, when at the point AI will replace humans? Maybe never, and I rather have the question, okay, let's educate the engine in a proper way to help humans to be, let's say, much more creative than as of today.
I agree, and I just have one thing to add. I think AI can be very important when it comes to reaching out to new audiences, since what we're seeing is Generation Z. Was it? Yeah. They don't watch a whole game. They want to see the highlights, and they want to see Alexander Isak's score, so they can come to the school next day and say, hey, yeah, I saw the goal, I saw it. And I think that could be even a smart way for the World Cup to work as well, that you can pick and choose what kind of, maybe you love the goalkeeper, you want to have the angler behind him all the game, I don't know, but be able to have it more personalized will definitely bring younger audience to the games, and I think it's going to be a beneficiary.
Fantastic, thank you. So no matter how quick the progress is going to be, there's plenty of challenges and risks for us to consider in football production, and I'm sure we've all seen some great examples of how different a dumbfounded computer is compared to a dumbfounded person in making football production. Jeja showed us earlier a little bit of when AI goes bad, which I'm sure we've all seen some amusing examples of. But this focuses for me back onto the challenges of implementing stuff that works and is helpful and useful. So I'm just wondering, what principal challenges are you dealing with right now in what you're hoping to bring next in terms of these features?
You want to start, shall I? I can start, you know.
Okay.
I think it's trust, to be honest, because humans obviously tend to be, let's say, very careful if it comes to change, and AI requires obviously change. So you have to trust the engine, and obviously you have to learn why you walk, and this is the next thing, because of the, let's say, very simple, if you're producing on top notch and talking about tier 1 operation, and you trust the engine too much, and you do have an incident on telly or on screen on your platform, people are not questioning, hey, where the incident is coming from and why you're using AI to do that. It was an incident. So you have to have trust, you have to, let's say, find compromises, and you have to have especially in regulatory markets, and Germany is a regulatory market, you have to deal with data privacy, data protection, and compliance. It's very simple. And those are all the obstacles you have to deal with. Tons of lawyers at the end of the day, what's doable and not. Those are the obstacles. I mean, you can push, if you hear people in the Middle East or in other less regulatory markets, they can play around with tons of other things. And this is where you have to be step by step, introduce the systems and the software and the engine in a, let's say, that's why I said, in a very safe and then scalable way. This would be, at the moment, this is our obstacle.
Understood. And Andrea, how's it going in Eluvio with your current challenges?
From a technology provider point of view, our main challenge is really the training right now. And not just training per se, is combining the training with sustainability. So we all know that there are huge models that we can use. Now, the problem with those huge models is that they consume a lot of power, they need a lot of memory, they need a lot of disk space. And what we are trying to do is optimize using smaller models and better training, specialized training for sports event. That's what we have done, for example, for the Super Bowl, taking a lower footprint in terms of model, but train that on that specific event. So we don't need to have a model that knows the history of the world. We just need a model that knows how soccer works. And that is going to provide a footprint in terms of sustainability and energy footprint that is much more sustainable, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you. And Jeja, what's your current challenge? What are you sinking your teeth into?
I would say for us as an organization, we've been working with the same strategy for 10 years, but now we're we're not innovative anymore. We need to do something, take a step up and focus a little bit more on prioritizing both the resources and the clubs on this moving forward again. So I think that's one thing. But so AI is actually like a huge opportunity for us as a small league and small organization. We're looking at how can our partners benefit and how can the end user benefit. Combination of data and video is where we have our strength. So for the last 7 years, we've been offering near live clips in the apps for each club. And we also have like a small product that gives you it directly during the game. So if you're watching it on your computer, you will get a notification and a clip, and then you see the goal. So we've been quite innovative in that area, but now we need to combine even more and make better product for our partners and for broadcasting and also for end user again. So I think it's going to be an exciting time.
Thank you. And we're touching now on compliance and the massive amounts of data and the challenges and opportunities that gives us. I just wanted to circle back a little bit on data. It's one area where I'm sure we all agree computers are better at data than we are. So we can see that there's going to be speed and scope of data that can be made available. But I'm just wondering where your thoughts are on how you think you're going to be able to get hold of these massive amounts of data that's going to be available. How can that translate onto the screen and into a viewer experience that's going to be an enhancement?
Our experience so far has been that AI can help a lot in several things. One being personalization of the experience. So today, when we do a sport production, we need to think about what's going to be good for everybody. And AI can bring the speed and the power of taking decision in order to personalize the content to the end user screen. By knowing the end user, by, of course, knowing the content itself. And that's what we want to try to do, is really making sure that at the end, when it gets to the end screen experience from the end user, it can be personalized based on AI, which is something you cannot do with just humans. Not because we don't have the capacity, but we don't have the numbers. Otherwise you would have to have somebody that creates the stream for me and then somebody that creates the stream for somebody else. So it would be almost a one-to-one.
Thank you. And so Alessandro, obviously Sky is a multinational organization which is synergizing a lot of its product across different territories. Do you think that localization and personalization are going to be empowered by AI? And if so, what do you think is next on your list?
100%. I mean, at the end of the day, localization is key, and and personalization, obviously. But therefore, you need products, and this is the good thing on the pan-European, let's say, organization I'm working with, that we work on global platforms, and global platform means scalability, and global platform means then, let's say, all those benefits, obviously, into the regional markets. And AI, and I would rather say AI and data and Gen AI layer will help to accommodate that and make tons of good products out of it. Because what you're doing at the moment is AI is kind of commodity. I mean, you have too much products out there, so you have to find out the right product which is helping you, and then you have tons of data. And I think now Gen AI comes into play and make out of AI and data a product, and let's say personalization, hyper-personalization, and on product side is possible with Gen AI. And this is where Sky is obviously working now, and a unified platform, and collecting all those use cases. And by the way, you have tons of use cases, and at the end of the day, you identify 100, 200, and you have, and then at the end of the day, you have to prioritize, pick 10, which brings the most value at the end of the day on content centricity, and at the end of the day for the customer. And with those 10 use cases, then you can create revenue models. Because, and I have to be maybe the less optimistic here, there was a super hyper of AI, and now let's say the romantic is a little bit gone, because very simple, it costed hell of a money. And if you have to justify in front of your CEO or your CFO the investment on AI, they will most of the time they will come along, how many FTEs can you save? It's not how much value can you create, what is the benefit on the labor cost. And this is the entire wrong discussion we have. So we have to convince, and also let's say vendors in the room here, it's not about always saving, let's say creating value, product value for customers, and then you can justify investments. It's the romantic is absolutely gone from my perspective. And I think this is the new discussion everyone, let's say, is dealing with content, needs to have with all the providers out there, from my perspective. And this is where you have to do smart decisions now in the next couple of years, where to invest your money, what you want to achieve, and where sits your product at the end of the day.
Fantastic. Jeja.
I just have a short one, but yes, I agree. And I think one club told me the other day, like, you've been talking about personalization for the last 5 years now. Aren't you getting bored, Jeja? I'm like, well, you're still not listening. So, but we work with the same platform, so we can gather all the data, and I've been trying for 5 years now to get every club to be able to act on it. But then it's up to the leaders of the club to have the resources and set aside time so they can make it happen. And in that context, since we are in control of our data, with an SSO, we combined it to one ID, so we know which one is doing what on all other platforms, with the ticketing and the streaming and the fantasy and everything. So in that way, we are in a good position. And I think in our case, AI can actually quite easily help us with those things. Since we have one club who streams loads of youth games, but they are one in communication. And it's actually Bergwall and Kulusevski's old club. So then you can understand, like, if he can schedule and send out youth games and get paid for it, they earn more money, so they can have another person in communication. So in that case, it's not a threat to the FTEs. It's actually making more money to have another FTE. So it's a different context, of course, but I think it's definitely it's hard, and you have to choose the right way to use AI, and when is it a real benefit for your club or your business, and when is this just another thing. So yeah.
Fantastic.
And
Andrea.
Just one short addition to everything that was said, because I think it's really interesting. One point that was mentioned, from a technology provider, we need to push on changing the mindset. And the mindset is, we're not there to save money, we are there to generate new opportunity. And that means lower the price of a solution so that the monetization that you can do with that solution makes sense. So even a small monetization is meaningful if the cost of getting to that monetization is low. And that, you know, what's really important is the delta, is not absolute values.
Understood.
That's why you need more storytellers in all the vendor companies.
Yes, so I agree. Thank you.
Yeah.
So very briefly then, just one last question, and this is, when you look at the problems that you are solving across your businesses, what's the one thing you hope AI can do for you that you haven't seen yet?
I would wish not seen yet. I would wish that we come to a point that we have, so we're collecting, as I said, our MAM, our PAMs. This is the ground jewel for a company like Sky. And I think that we are using maybe 20% out of the capacity. So I think utilization will be key, and I would wish to see a very smart MAM PAM system in the future, driven by AI, driven by data, with all the benefits, bells and whistles, face recognition, storytelling, cropping, whatsoever, let's say, template-based, where you, let's say, can address the certain audiences you'd need, your Gen Z, your alphas, whatsoever. Having a smart system in place very soon, that would be very beneficial.
Tech vendors take note.
That's why I'm saying it.
Indeed. And Andrea?
On my side, what I would like to see, and that's not just from a vendor perspective, probably from a human perspective, is AI helping give space to sports that have not had space in the past. So amateur sport or young leagues sport that today you cannot watch. Like, I live in France, my parents are in Italy, so my kids did sport in France. That means my parents were never able to assist to a basketball match of my son. Why? Because it's not broadcasted. Of course not. The cost would be massive, right? Now, if AI, in terms of the entire end-to-end production, and that is not just AI's distribution and so on, can lower that price, and all of a sudden making, again, you know, the delta between monetization and production being positive, so that sports that have never had a lot of screen time now all of a sudden can have that screen time. So that's what I wish as a human, more than as a technology vendor.
Fantastic. And Jeja?
Yeah, I think we're already there, I would say, but I'm really excited about the end user experience. I think that's going to be a massive change with the AI, and that we can have it rapidly and in the moment, and also be more personalized. I think that's, as you already know now, but that's like the key here, to have what you want in the format you want and at what time you want it. Because we don't have much time. It's hard even to, if you go to a game, it's going to take 2-3 hours out of your family time during the weekends. So we should be able to be more personalized. I think that's going to be good, and I'm quite excited. I think I made up a new product on the way here, so I'm quite excited right now to see where we're heading. And I think we have a lot to learn from each other, but it boils down to resources and understanding, like you were saying, Alessandro, really important. We're not going to just cut or sack people because of AI. We're going to use it to enhance the experience.
That's a beautiful note to end on, and thank you very much for that, everybody. So we're out of time on this one, and as Douglas Adams said, when people you greatly admire appear to be thinking deep thoughts, they're probably thinking about lunch. So before I hand you back to Heather, please thank you to my panel for a fantastic discussion.